Captain's Log, Subdate 200619.2. Subfleet have decided to send a warning shot to the Starship Destroyer, aka Fluffykins, as a warning for killing a Federation citizen. LOL! They've also decided to send me some new uniforms. Apparently, we're going to war with Sith. This is going to be fun. Welcome everyone to This Week at Twitter. Today we have 8 subjects I'd like to go through. It would be 9, but I'm still not entirely sure who the Twitter shagger is. It was trending, that was going to be the 9th. Moving on. Before we even start, there is a new video on Moistonian Live, and I'm going to be streaming there later tonight. Both linked down below. So to start, let's talk with the empty gesture of actors acting like they care about the lives of African Americans and everyone else around the world that is not white, by putting out this rather cringy video.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility.
I take responsibility for every unchecked moment. For every time it was easier to ignore than to call it out for what it was.
Every not so funny joke. Every unfair stereotype.
Every blatant injustice, no matter how big or small.
Every time I remained silent.
Every time I explained away police brutality.
Nothing screams, I take responsibility more than guilt by association because of the hue of one's skin colour, and the empty gesture of someone having to read it off a script like Deborah Messing. That video is 2 minutes long, I'm not playing the entire thing. So instead, let's move on to my random block of the week. Found this out in passing. Hi Lily Mead, hope you're well. Not going to bother asking you why I'm blocked. I just know I am. Okay. Moving on. So RAF Luton put out a tweet that if anyone even thinks of pulling down our Millennium Falcon statue, there will be trouble. Hashtag Star Wars, hashtag RAF Luton. This is the Millennium Falcon they are referring to. This has caused quite a stir, with many not getting the joke. I don't suppose anyone took the opportunity to bother to look up whether or not that ship did in fact exist in Luton, which it doesn't. In fact, it's many have argued because of the name and the designation numbers, these people just don't know franchises. Well, it's far simpler than that. That statue resides as a local landmark in the town of Vulcan in the state province of Alberta in Canada. Anyone could have told you that, because it's actually quite well known amongst Trekkies. Instead of everyone just pouncing on it and accusing RAF Luton of not knowing their franchises, which to me was the funniest aspect of all of this. There is even a placard on it which says, Town of Vulcan, Vulcan Starship FX6 1995A, which is not the NCC 1701. It's not the Enterprise. They're part of the same class of ship, but they're not the same. You're all welcome. I should know this, by the way. I reside in a shuttle pod from the NX-01 Enterprise. Oh, dear Lord. I love Twitter. Arlen YYYSS, a Twitter user, put out a kinda poll where if you liked or retweeted a certain number of times, that would then determine who won, asking who cheats more, retweets for guys, likes for girls. The result at the time of my screen capture and then archiving was 23,800 retweets to 183,800 likes, meaning that people have decided, the court of public opinion has decided, girls cheat more. To which Arlen has replied, due to the results, I've come to realise that men are liars. Sounds to me like what you really need to do to get a truly accurate measure of this is run this test 2 more times, like a good little scientist who put an opinion out there and it backfired magnificently. Congratulations? Maybe I'll do something similar, but I won't be so salty when I don't get the result I want. Then again, I've done ones on the best chocolate in the world, and the one I wanted to win did not win. But I took the L and moved on, and said in the back of my head, you're all liars. Amazing. When I downloaded the video I'm about to show you, protests at the time were kind of still really hot. They are still quite a hot subject, but not as volatile. Somebody noticed a reporter making a rather silly comment and did this while eating ramen like it was a sandwich out of a packet.
And please, show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful. And please.
There's the First Amendment. You just gotta look it up, Mr. Kummel.
I don't know how to respond to this, but I found it very amusing regardless. So I was trawling through the stories on Instagram because I was a bit bored when I woke up early, and I noticed Blair White put out a picture with this tweet. Homophobia is understandable, transphobia is not. There's so many reasons to hate gay people, most specifically white gays. But there's never a reason to be a transphobe. Upon archiving the tweet, because I was able to find it, I had thought they'd delete it, but they've stuck true to this. They've got an excuse, everyone. I mean, reason. It's just a joke, bro. Right. You're all now welcome to go and press X to doubt. I shall now say, for the sake of it, because YouTube will pick up on this, and undoubtedly I'll have to fight it in a review, I am not sending hate to any community. I am calling out an individual who put out a comment like this and believes it is a joke. If they have a YouTube channel, I'm sure you'd monetize them anyway, because you suck. As far as the joke goes, if it is one, I've yet to find the funny in it, but that's not to say it isn't a joke. Who knows? It's a mystery. Lucy may well, in fact, be one of the greatest comedians to ever exist ever, in her mind. So next we go to Life of Bria, who has decided to make a rather interesting and thought-provoking comparison. J.K. Rowling will be remembered how H.P. Lovecraft is, not just because both of them are bigots, but because both of them are bland writers who arranged a bunch of broad ideas together that inspired generations to create more interesting works than anything the original creators ever made. Let's just forget here for a second. J.K. Rowling's still alive and found fame while living. H.P. Lovecraft didn't find any fame until he died, never getting the chance to actually bask in the glory that is everything that he created and inspired. To call someone a bland writer is a remarkably hipster thing to say. You are right that they did inspire generations, but it wasn't just the writers that they inspired. Because let's not forget here, a huge, vast quantity of D&D is inspired by H.P. Lovecraft's work. Warhammer, inspired by him. You can draw comparisons everywhere. And for J.K. Rowling, she inspired children, which is just what you want from our works. You want to inspire a market. There are vastly different types of writers as well. One created creatures and realms and fantasy. The other wrote for an audience of predominant children to inspire children. And while it can be conceded there have been some interesting works that have come from those inspired by those writers, comparing the two is a remarkable false equivalence. And I'll be honest, even upon reading all the tweets you put out since, which was quite a lengthy chain I might add, it tells me you have not read the works of J.K. Rowling or H.P. Lovecraft, and instead are just putting out a derivative hipster comment of bland writers, which is exactly what any aspiring writer says about anyone else's work, because they don't want to appear to be in unison with them because of what they have done in their lifetimes that you fundamentally disagree with. Let's just go with politics on this one, because it's basically a salty comment after J.K. Rowling called out something that she should have called out. She's the wrong kind of feminist, everyone, and Bria is very salty about that. I would say I almost take some offence because I'm inspired by H.P. Lovecraft, but everyone knew, by today's standards, he was not exactly, yeah, he had a black cat. We knew it from the offset. Okay, and one now has to insert the word but here. Times, climate, societies change. You can't compare the two because they are vastly different histories. To the final one, I'm going to show you a video. Well, I'm glad he didn't have a beer in his hand, and it's very interesting to see a bus service deliver you as fast as that. As with all things I cover here, do tell me what you think was the stupidest one this week. My personal favourite is Bria. but only because she clearly has no understanding, fundamentally, of the writer of H.P. Lovecraft. Instead, going on the personal attack instead. You're a genius. Do tell me in the comments down below if I don't see you over on Moisky Live tonight. Have a cracking weekend, and thank you all for listening.